Hello, it's me again, Moxie, here for another reaction video. Now, the video I'm about to react to has been brought to us by none other than a Planet Dolan. Great channel, be sure to check them out. They do excellent work just like this. What we're about to see here by Planet Dolan is 10 Worst Neighbors Ever. Now, this ought to be festive, and knowing this is downright weird. So, let's have fun and get this very trippy party started. See what these neighbors are up to, because I've seen some bad neighbors. If I once knew a very crazy one. But besides, I'll tell that story after the video. Or maybe I already have, I don't remember. But besides that, let's get this party started. Without further ado, let's go.
Planet Dolan. What disease did a neighbor fake to get out of doing lawn work? Why did someone pretend to be an undercover FBI agent? From the crazy to the just plain mean, here are 10 of the worst neighbors imaginable. How's it going? I'm Planet Dolan. I'm here to decipher some random things I found on the internet the other day that I think you might be interested in.
Number 10.
Cat lady. You know how a lot of apartments have restrictions on what kind of pets you can have? It's usually something like 2 pet maximum with weight or breed restrictions and whatnot. Well, there was a woman who caused her entire apartment building to reek of cat pee. Complaints to the apartment managers did nothing, so neighbors eventually called animal control. They found 30 cats in the woman's apartment, living in squalid conditions. Animal control took those cats in and the...
Okay, I will admit, I have, I think, 5 cats in here and 1 dog. But I wouldn't, but seriously, who has 30 in their house? Goodness mental sake.
apartment complex convicted the woman.
Number 9.
Wait a sec, I knew one person that had about that many cats in her house.
Neighbor whose home went uncared for with overflowing trash bins and a dying lawn had a really good excuse. She had cancer. Her head was shaved, she had a limp with cane and everything, but when someone brought her cookies and offered to take care of the trash and lawn for her, she spilled the beans. She didn't have cancer. She's faking it so she wouldn't have to take care of the house she was renting.
You evil freaking bastard. You have to be seriously one evil son of a biatch to fake having cancer. There are actual people that have that disease that are suffering, you asshole. That is just evil. Out of all the things you could have come up with to get out of work. But besides that...
That bit of information got back to the neighbor's landlord. The fake cancer patient exacted her revenge by blasting loud music late at night. When the inevitable noise complaint came in, the woman told the police that her neighbor had punched her in the chest. Not only did security camera footage prove that to be untrue, but fake cancer neighbor was seen locking her 9-year-old daughter out of the house and spraying her with a hose at 2 in the morning.
Number 8.
One of the more harmless things this guy did was accuse his neighbors of smoking when they didn't smoke at all. But he earned the nickname Mr. Fire by the people who watched a bizarre scene unfold involving a smoldering trash can. Apparently he was cooking a steak and accidentally ignited the meat. Not knowing how to put the fire out, he just threw the entire pan into the trash can. The trash can naturally started melting, so he threw the entire can out the window into the garden below. He was forced to move out, not just because of that, but also because of a later incident in which he bursted a pipe by flushing one of his adult diapers down the toilet.
Either you're senile, you old man, or you're just plain a dumbass.
Number 7.
When a new family moved to the block, they seemed nice enough at first. That was until one day when the 9 and 6-year-old kids in the family started yelling profanities at the other kids and throwing things at them for no reason. Nobody retaliated, but the young kids went back and told their mother that people were being mean to them. This spawned chaos throughout the entire neighborhood as suspicious vandalism started showing up. There were even some dangerous traps laid, like boards with nails in them placed behind car tires. Nobody ever got hard proof of who was doing it or why, but it mysteriously stopped when that family moved away.
Number 6.
And this is why I have a hard time trusting kids half the time. Because I'm not saying all kids are bad. They're not. There's actually some pretty nice kids out there. But all I'm saying is I've seen some kids that will just come up with the wackiest stuff to get someone in trouble. I'm just saying it's messed up. But besides that...
Sometimes neighbors have a legitimate gripe with your pet. Sometimes it's crazy, like the woman who called her neighbor's white Labrador Retriever a death dog, despite it never attacking anybody or doing anything remotely aggressive. After she called the police on the dog for no reason 3 times, the police warned her not to call again. So instead, she started throwing food over the fence and pouring cleaning chemicals on them. After the dog's owners caught her on camera doing exactly that, her husband came over to apologize and begged them not to call the police on her. The woman finally left the dog alone and instead started climbing the fence to destroy their landscaping and pull all the flowers out of their flower bed.
Number 5.
It's kind of expected that every once in a while you'll have neighbors who throw a somewhat unruly party, but one guy's neighbors in college would throw parties all the time, and every time they would, a TV would get broken. It was like tradition. How did he know his neighbors were breaking their TV at parties? Because they would throw it out the window or off the balcony to smash on the pavement below. And not a flat screen TV either. Giant, heavy CRT TVs. This apparently happened about one.
Okay, now I haven't seen one of those TVs since I was about maybe 7, maybe 8. It's been a long time, but just saying, those TVs still exist. But besides that,
Once a month, press F to pay respects. I wish I had a CRT that was in working condition. Assholes.
Number 4.
Paranoia is a strange thing. One man had to deal with his downstairs neighbor pretending to be some sort of secret
now that I think about it, wouldn't those types of TVs be collectibles nowadays?
agent out to get him. Specifically, she would stage cringeworthy fake phone calls to headquarters talking about the suspicious behavior of returning home after...
Wait a second, it would be a lot funnier if she was like Liam Neeson. I have a very unique set of skills. You get my daughter back, no harm will come to you. But if you don't, I will find you. And I will kill you. I'm just saying, that would make it 10 times funnier.
9 o'clock in the evening. She also shouted at another set of neighbors who had a flower pot in their window, which was apparently a signal that they were a drug dealer. Eventually, she posted this so-called FBI notice in the building stairwell. She got a taste of her own medicine after a man staged his own fake phone call, talking about how impersonating the FBI was a felony. The notice was gone an hour later.
Number 3.
This guy probably didn't mean to be a bad neighbor, he just had an extreme case of hoarding. His front and back porch were filled with junk, and he couldn't just use his front door because it was blocked by stuff on the inside. His backyard featured grass that was several feet tall and a breeding ground for mosquitoes. He spent most of his days at the library and often slept in his truck. Eventually the man died, and after dozens of truckloads of trash were taken to the dump, the trash was still hip deep. Bloody hoarders?
Number 2.
When one family got evicted from their house because their mortgage was 8 months behind, things got crazy. In the last week before they were forcibly removed from their house, they started selling everything. Seriously, everything in the house. Bathroom fixtures, the oven, even the doors. The entire house was gutted and everything was removed and put on sale. By the time they left, there were only...
Boy, that kind of reminds me of something that happened when we first moved in here. I mean, for goodness sakes, this place was in shambles when we first moved in. I think the landlord and some people had to do some fix-ups on this place before we could move in. I mean, whoever moved out of this house was pissed. Just saying, you should have seen the state. But besides that, fun fact, let's get back.
3 things left in the house. Their dog, their cat, and their son.
Number 1.
Wait a sec, go back.
The entire house was gutted and everything was removed and put on sale. By the time they left, there were only 3 things left in the house. Their dog, their cat, and their son.
You evil assholes. I have no words. But besides that...
Number 1.
In the southeastern United States, you're never too far away from a meth lab, but you usually don't know it. One guy definitely knew it. His neighbor would ride his ATV up and down the street, firing his guns in the air at random. He would shoot up drugs in the middle of the day outside in plain view, and his booby-trapped meth lab in the woods was basically a town landmark. If that wasn't bad enough, drugs would frequently just show up in the wrong mailbox. The man had 72 indictments against him, but every time the police would actually show up and arrest him, he'd go to prison for 3 months, come back, and get right back to it. This video was made possible by our fans over on...
Wait a sec, with all that evidence against him, he only gets 3 months in prison and comes back? Well, he must have a guardian angel.
Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys. That is it for this countdown. Have a good one!
Okay, now getting back to what I was going to tell you guys. I don't know if anybody remembers this. Maybe I told this story before, but this was years back. We were living in another trailer park owned by the same landlord. But what happened is it was way before we moved here. But besides that, what happened is we had this neighbor. I tended to ignore her because she was obviously old and her mind was going, so I tend not to make any issues about it. And I have to say, she was a serious hoarder. And I don't really think they showered. But besides that point, there was this one incident that just got me scared. Basically, I knew a woman that had a lot of cats at her house. She took good care of them. She was a good person. One of her cats entered my yard, but I had nothing to feed it at the time. I had to feed my own cats, and I didn't have enough food to feed one outside, at the time. So I picked up the cat and went to take it back to the woman's house. The second I do that, the old lady next door to us comes out holding some kind of object I don't remember. And I'm telling her, I'm just bringing this cat back to his owner, and the woman just blatantly yells out, "Oh no! You put that cat down! That cat belongs to the Lord!" And those exact words, I'm just saying. But I put it down and I just walk away. At first I just ignore her, but then she starts running towards me, and I just decide, I didn't sign up for this. I just put it down, let it walk back to the house on its own, and I just go back inside. I mean, it was a weird situation. I told my parents about it. They just told me to... You get the point. But I'm just saying it was a weird situation. But besides that, that's the story I had to tell. And also, besides my rambling, this was by none other than a Planet Dolan. Great channel, be sure to check them out. They do excellent videos just like this. They do a lot of stuff just like this. And also some good story videos too. Be sure to check them out. Also, be sure to check out my channel, Moxie Reactions Plus Gameplays. Also, be sure to leave any comments or any videos I'd recommend in the description down below. Also, check out my BitChute channel. Link will be in the description. Also, have a nice tremendous day, and hope you all take care, and still, stay classy. But besides that, I'm just saying, that was weird. But without further ado, 1, 2, 3.